Hey there, it's Heather King reporting from Los Angeles, Glassell Park, actually. I got a few, I have my fingers in many different pies, and so I haven't recorded one of these videos for probably months, and then I got a few new followers. I thought, oh, wow, you should really put something up there. I know I like to do it, but I just haven't had time. But anyway, so I'm thinking a lot about calling things by their proper name, um, which across the board is just a wonderful thing that I think we're called to do out of integrity, out of a desire for truth, out of a love for language, and uh, and intersected with a sense of humor. I feel like we've really our poor cultural sense of humor has just gone down the tubes. It's now oppressive to have to crack a joke, and I'm just so done with it. So anyway, I'm thinking, apropos of calling things by their name, I'm thinking of my late sainted mother, and mom was the queen of euphemism. So somebody would be in the psych ward after a suicide attempt, and she'd be the way she described it was, he's feeling kind of low. He, he's a little blue these days. Or one time I had a tumor. I mean, like I had a tumor in my breast, and mom told told the other, they didn't, she told my siblings and they didn't even understand what she was. She said, yes, has an area. She called it an area. Anyway, it was like that. And so that's one kind of, and I understand the impulse completely. I go the opposite way probably and exaggerate everything. But there's room for a sense of humor in here and just our own individual. But I think what bothers me is the cultural kind of enforcement of terms that often mean the exact opposite of what they say, uh, or mask somehow what they're trying to say. Reproductive rights. Okay. It's like, no, reproductive rights would be what people in China who were under a one-child policy and had abortions forced upon them and were not allowed to have more than one child. That would be the place to talk about reproductive rights. In the United States, you're always free to have as many kids as you want. So it's not reproductive rights, it's abortion. It's legalized, a movement for legalized abortion. Let's just call it what it is. It's not reproductive rights. So I just, believe whatever you want to, or be behind whatever issue, but let's call it what it is. And of course, same with pro-choice. It's like, well, it's not, if you want to choose to have a kid, that's not under question. That's not under attack. What you're really saying is pro have an abortion. It's like, again, it's pro-abortion. Just call it what it is. You perhaps would, not that I especially want to advance that cause, but you might get more people. To me, when you tell the truth, it's way more attractive. Um, Then we have, of course, and by the way, as you may know, I've had in another, not another life, unfortunately, in this life, many, many, before my conversion and when I was in way, way more confusion than I am now, but I had abortions. And that's another, you go into the clinic and they call it a procedure. Proceed. I looked it up this morning. Etymology means go forward. And is that what an abortion really is? Is it a going forward or is it not descending downward? Why, I mean, if there's nothing to hide, why not call something by its proper name? Um, of course, one of the major, 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 I mean, we have the whole inclusion movement that, of course, has turned out to mean exclusion and, to my mind, discrimination and okay, we won't even get into I won't go fully into that, but you probably know what I'm talking about. Is it inclusion? Is it diversity? But the prime example is gender affirming. I mean, give me a break. to mutilate someone, to chemically castrate them, to cut off the healthy breasts of a prepubescent girl, that is not affirming anything. And to me, the gender extremism and ideology is really the most frightful and frightfully wrong-headed. I don't even know what to call it. It's more than a debacle. It's a nightmare. It's unbelievably anti-human. It is better than a millstone we're tied around our necks and that we led an innocent person astray. And I mean, no one who is, uh, yeah, pubescent, prepubescent, even, yeah, people are just we're leading, especially young people who are in such an impressionable age and so obviously troubled, many of them. I just think we should be hanging our heads in shame. But the point is, and then I mean, you're not forced to say anything, but that is the received cultural wisdom and term. And the problem with calling things by what they are not or by the opposite is that then that it's a lie. And I really feel like the forces of darkness, whatever you want to call it, Satan, the power of darkness, the prince of lies, another name, the more you feed it a lie and it's ravenous for more lies. So the lies have to get bigger and bigger and more outrageous and more anti-human and more putting the human person in chains and destroying. So I don't think that's a small thing. I think it's a huge thing. So anyway, I'm just kind of putting, when I'm as guilty as anyone of minimizing and when I don't want to sort of own up to what I might exactly be up to, I'll call it a little something else, right? Um, the white lie or oh, I just needed to help this situation along a little. So I took a little bit of a shortcut and I think that's never avails I mean, yeah. I think, there is the kind of, that dress looks beautiful on you, when someone's getting married or something. I mean, there's no, that's not a lie in its way. And it's certainly way in certain situations, way the greater part of kindness. But these are the terms I'm talking about are very of a different realm. Um, so there you go. I am, yeah, that's just a little thought. I thought I'd get out there. Um, yeah, it's been wonderful to be in Los Angeles. As you may or may not know, I lived here for 30 years and I moved to Tucson 3 years ago. And it's yeah, I mean it's LA is hard. It's a big city. There's a ton of driving. I mean, that's the main thing about it. There's driving no matter which way you cut it. And but the light and I mean, the insane abundance of, I'm just looking out at this yard. There's pomegranates, there's lemons, someone gave me persimmons from their tree the other day. I mean, these fruit trees just grow in people's backyards, avocados. You go over to anyone's house. Oh, do you want some avocados? Do you want the lemons actually aren't quite ripe, but they're coming. These people have grapes. So it's a wonderful place. I've been able to go to St. Andrew's, which is in Pasadena. Beautiful church. I used to go to daily mass there all the time, 8:15. And but the church is open all day, which is lovely, which as we know, not every church is. And because I guess they probably have to have someone there to sort of overlook it. But so it's open and you can just duck in and pray, and that's a beautiful thing. And I think in the silence when we get, lately and it's been so busy here. Like I go into church and I'm not even praying with words. I'm not asking for anything. Let me just rest like John on Christ's breast at the Last Supper. Just need to rest. And I think in that silence, in that desire, Yeah, that hunger for light and for truth and to live in integrity, knowing how deeply and often we fail, but it does give rise to this, I think, an increasing desire to sort of live in the truth. So anyway, I will hopefully report back from Tucson. I'll be home. I'm driving home Thursday, and it's Tuesday today. Okay, thank you so much for listening. And oh, I have a new book out. Oh, I forgot to check. Okay, next time I'm going to talk about my new book. It's called Consumed: The Joys, Sorrows, and Debacles of a Life Ordered to Art. So I will talk about that and give a little bit of plug. My friends are like, "What are you doing for PR, for publicity for your book?" I'm like, "Oh, I put it on my blog." But no, it's actually, I really am proud. I like the book. I'm proud of the book. So go on Amazon if you want and buy it. It's Kindle too. Okay. See you soon.